Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of the Retro Wrestling Review Series. I'm Owen Finch here, and I am going to be continuing the Cruiserweight Classic review of the tournament. Now I'm going to be reviewing the whole second round, so that's going to be, let me just double check, make sure I have this right. That's going to be episodes 5 through 7, so I'm going to try to get through all those. I'm going to try to completely finish out this review series today, so I'm going to be reviewing episodes 5 through 7. I hope you guys enjoy it. And right now, I'm going to try to talk about the backstory for all this stuff. Okay, so the build-up to this tournament really isn't much build-up because it's mainly just matches because it's a tournament, which I love tournaments. We had people qualify for the second round. Johnny Gargano recently qualified in the final match of the first round by beating his tag team partner, Tommaso Ciampa. Cedric Alexander qualified, and he's going to be facing Kota Ibushi. Gran Metalik is going to be facing Tajiri. I'm just naming the noticeable matchups. Brian Kendrick is going to be facing Tony Nese. I can't really think of any other matchups, though, not gonna lie. It's just I really don't remember them all, so I apologize for that. What I'm gonna do, though, is I'm assuming they're gonna talk about it throughout the episodes and stuff of this thing. So as they talk about it, I will mention it when I do it. But those are like the matchups that I noticed the most. On this episode, it's gonna be Gran Metalik, who qualified by beating Alejandro, I forget his last name, and Tajiri, who qualified by beating Damian Slater, and so they're going to be facing, it's going to be Gran Metalik versus Tajiri, and Kota Ibushi, who qualified by beating Sean Maluta, versus Cedric Alexander, and he qualified, I forget who he qualified to beat. But we also have other people qualified. One I just remembered is going to be Zack Sabre Jr. qualified by beating Tyson Duke. And I forget who he's facing, but he qualified. So we have a lot of good wrestlers look like coming up in this tournament. But yeah, the episode, but in episode 5, the episode I'm about to watch and review, it's going to be the two matchups they announced is going to be Gran Metalik versus Tajiri and Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. And Kota Ibushi is obviously like one of the biggest indie stars that you've heard. Everybody's heard of this guy. He's a well-known name. So that's very interesting. And we have Tajiri, who's recently made his return to, he had been seen in WWE, I think, since 2004, but I could be wrong. 2004, maybe I'll go as far as 2005, but the last time I had seen him wrestle a match was at TNA Bound for Glory 2014. So, and Gran Metalik is obviously a huge star on the indies and stuff, and Cedric Alexander's from Charlotte, North Carolina. So, yeah, that's kind of the stuff. So now that I've kind of gone through the backstories, let me kind of just talk about this episode. Okay, so right now I figured I would kind of tell you what the brackets are for round 2 are, because I don't really know myself, and I figured that it would give me some more information. Because I'm watching it right now, and they're in the control room with Corey Graves, and they have the brackets up, so I'm just gonna read them off. It's going to be, and this is the only way I can get it. So in round 2, it's going to be Akira Tozawa, who qualified by beating Kenneth Johnson, which was a really good match, I remember. And they'll be facing Jack Gallagher, who qualified by beating Fabian Rickner. I don't even know if that's how you say that. And like I talked about before, we're going to have Tajiri, who qualified by beating Damian Slater, taking on Gran Metalik, who qualified by beating Alejandro Ciaz. We're going to have Drew Gulak, who qualified by beating H. Sierra, take on Zack Sabre Jr., who qualified by beating Tyson Duke. I actually kind of can't wait to see that match. It's going to be really good. We have Noam Dar, who qualified by beating G. Shira. Take on Ho Ho Loon, who qualified by beating Arya Davari. We're going to get the Brian Kendrick, who qualified by beating Wool Mendoza. Taking on Tony Nese, who qualified by beating Anthony Bennett. We're going to get Kota Ibushi, who qualified by beating Sean Maluta, who taking on Cedric Alexander, who qualified by beating Clement Paytoyt, I think is how you say that. We're going to get TJ Perkins, who qualified by defeating Domac, taking on Johnny Gargano, who qualified by defeating Tommaso Ciampa. We're going to get Lynn Dorado, who qualified by beating Mustafa Ali, taking on Rich Swann, who qualified by beating Jason Lee. So this is the Sweet 16. I actually can't wait to see some of these matchups. I'm going to go over them again. We have Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher. I can't wait to see that match. That's going to be really good. Tajiri versus Grand Metalik. Can't wait to see that match. That's going to be really good. Drew Gulak versus Zack Sabre Jr. Again, that's going to be really good. That will probably be the technical wrestling match. You have Grand Metalik versus Tajiri. That will probably be like the high-flying match. Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher, I think, could be a mixture of high-flying and technical wrestling. You have the Brian Kendrick versus Tony Nese. I think that's just going to be a hard-hitting match. I think it will be really good. Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. I think that's going to be a mixture of high-flying with strong-style type wrestling. And TJ Perkins versus Johnny Gargano. A mixture of like a little bit of high-flying and also submission-based wrestling. And we have Lynn Dorado versus Rich Swann, which is going to be like the high-flying match of the second round. So I actually can't wait to see the second round. The second round actually looks amazing. I actually can't wait to see it. So now that I've kind of talked about it, let me actually finish watching this episode and then I'll come review it. Okay, so now we have the official episode. This episode is Season 1, Episode 5. And this is probably the best episode I've seen in this tournament so far. And I probably haven't seen anything yet. There's probably going to be a lot more better episodes. But this episode was a really great way to kick off round 2. The commentary team was Daniel Bryan and Mauro Ranallo, and I just love them on commentary together. Like I said, I hope Daniel Bryan, after he's done doing his thing with being a general manager, can be a commentator because he's just awesome at it. And it shows a video package of the first round about who's advanced, how everybody advanced. And then we get a video package for Grand Metalik. And he says that he's from Mexico. And he says that he wears his mask for his heritage. And he says that if he won the Cruiserweight Classics, it would be a dream come true for him. And he says that he's winning this match. He wants to win this tournament for his Mexican pride. So I thought that was a really good video package. Kind of a nice way to reintroduce Grand Metalik. I can't really say introduce him because they've shown it before, but no one had probably seen Grand Metalik in a while. So because we hadn't seen him since like the first round of the tournament. So. And then it shows a video package for Tajiri. And Tajiri says, that he's from Japan. He's 25 years old. And he says that he's the oldest wrestler in the Cruiserweight Classic. But he said what's going to help him in this tournament is his experience. But what's going to hurt him is his age. And he says that he wants to win the Cruiserweight Classics. Because he wants to feel like he accomplished something before he retired. He doesn't want to live with regrets. So I like that. So then we have a CWC tournament second round match. It's Tajiri versus Grand Metalik. This match was a really good way to kick off round 2 of the tournament. This was a really good tournament match. At first, they just started feeling each other out. They start doing chain grapples, armbar. They start doing wrist locks, armbar takedowns, and then eventually Tajiri gets Grand Metalik in the Fuji armbar, and Grand Metalik's able to fight out of it. Then Tajiri ends up getting Grand Metalik into a an octopus while he's on the ground, and then Grand Metalik reverses it into an ankle lock, which was really sick. And then they're on the outside, and not TJ Perkins. Tajiri's on the outside, and Grand Metalik goes to drop kick him, but Tajiri moves out of the way, and Grand Metalik, and he super kicks Grand Metalik right in the face, puts him in the ring, and he hits a splash, going in the ring, and he goes to the cover, but Grand Metalik kicks out, and Tajiri pretty much dominates the rest of the match for a while, and then eventually he finally makes a mistake, and Grand Metalik capitalizes on it. He hits a crossbody, a springboard back elbow, a sick drop kick, and then he hits the toupee suicide, the somersault plunger onto the outside on Tajiri. He hits an elbow drop, a springboard elbow drop from the middle rope, and Tajiri is still able to kick out of all this stuff too. And then Tajiri hits a super kick, ends up hitting the buzzsaw. Well, he went to kick Grand Metalik while he was in the while he was on the apron, but Grand Metalik Hunters hit a corkscrew, hit a dragon corkscrew over the middle rope, and then what else? They keep going back and forth. Tajiri ends up eventually hitting a buzzsaw kick right onto Grand Metalik, but Grand Metalik's able to kick out of that. And then Tajiri gets him in a submission hold where he has like the head scissors, and he just really starts stretching it back. And Grand Metalik's able to fight out of it, and then eventually Grand Metalik hits the Metalik driver, which is pretty much a Michinoku driver, for the win, and Grand Metalik goes over. This was a really good back and forth, fast-paced match. It really could have gone either way, so I just really enjoyed it. And then next it showed a video so yeah, Grand Metalik advances in the tournament, and then next it showed a video package for Cedric Alexander, and he says that he still can't believe that he's here in the WWE, and he feels like by coming to the WWE, everybody that always doubted him he finally shut up all the downers, and he said that he's finally here, he's finally in the big leagues pretty much. So he was just pretty much talking about that. And then we get a video package for Kota Ibushi. He says that he's from Japan, and he says that his style of he said that wrestling, when he wrestles, it makes him happy, and everybody all over the world enjoyed his wrestling. And then Kota Ibushi says that he's going to bring now his style of wrestling to the world of WWE, and hopes the WWE universe enjoys it. So then we had the main event of the show. It was another CWC tournament second round match. It was Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. This match was fantastic. It was awesome. This is probably the best match that they've had out of, like, I'm not just saying out of round 2, but out of all the matches, this has probably been the best match in the whole tournament. And they both at first start just doing headlocks and just start grappling each other, trying to feel each other out, see who the better man is, like any wrestling match starts out. And then eventually Cedric Alexander ends up hitting a chop to Kota Ibushi, and Kota Ibushi ends up hitting a kick right to Cedric Alexander's chest. And another thing that made this match mean so much more was because when Cedric Alexander was asked who he wanted to face in this tournament out of everybody, he said that the one person he's always wanted to face was Kota Ibushi, because this was his hero. So this was kind of like a dream match for Cedric Alexander. And then Kota Ibushi goes for the triangle moonsault on the outside, but Cedric Alexander moves out of the way, and then Cedric Alexander hits a tope suicida on the outside, and then he hits the springboard clothesline coming onto Kota Ibushi when they get back in the ring, and goes for the cover, but Kota Ibushi kicks out of it, and then he goes for a suplex on Ibushi, but Kota Ibushi lands on his feet and hits a drop kick, and he starts making his comeback, he tries to go for the then he ends up hitting the triangle moonsault on the outside eventually. Then he tries to go for the Golden Star power bomb, but Cedric Alexander is able to fight out of it. And then Cedric Alexander hits a Insiguri right on Dakota Ibushi. There's one spot where Cedric Alexander hits a forearm and Kota Ibushi comes right back and hits a Pele kick on him, which was sick. Um, and Cedric Alexander ended up hitting a double Insiguri in the corner. And then he ended up hitting a brainbuster, and he came very, very close to beating Kota Ibushi, but Kota Ibushi was able to kick out. And then I'm trying to think what else happened. Cedric Alexander ended up hitting a Michinoku driver, and Kota Ibushi still kicked out of that. Then eventually Cedric Alexander goes for the double stomp off the top while he's on the top rope. Kota Ibushi moves out of the way. Actually, I forgot. After Cedric Alexander too had hit the brainbuster, he ends up kicking him right in the face, and Kota Ibushi still kicked out of it. And then Kota Ibushi ends up hitting a kick right to the head, and ends up hitting the Golden Star Powerbomb onto Cedric Alexander for the win. So Kota Ibushi ends up advancing in the tournament. But this match was really awesome, and I think Cedric Alexander, even though he lost, still comes out as the victor because he had like probably the greatest match I ever seen him probably have. And this match can really put him on the map to really get signed to WWE, because after the match, everybody was chanting "Thank you, Cedric," and everyone was chanting "Please sign Cedric." And then Triple H comes out and kind of like gives Cedric Alexander his endorsement, like he was gonna sign Cedric Alexander, which I thought was awesome that they had Triple H come out and do that. I thought that was sick. And this match was just an awesome match. And like I said, Cedric Alexander, I think, still got put over, even though he didn't win. So that was just awesome. And it makes sense because you got Kota Ibushi, who's like the favorite to win the tournament. You don't want to have him get eliminated too early, so it makes sense to have him win the match. And like I said, it really could have gone either way. You could have had Cedric Alexander win, or you could have had Kota Ibushi win. Same thing with the Grand Metalik Tajiri match. And overall, this was a really good, like I said, a really fantastic episode. This was probably the best two matches I've seen in the tournament so far. I don't know if actually, maybe not the Grand Metalik Tajiri match, but definitely Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi. If you haven't seen this match yet, definitely check it out. And on the next episode, they announced a few more matches. It's going to be the Brian Kendrick versus Tony Nese, Jack Gallagher versus trying to remember who he's facing. Akira Tozawa, I think is how you say his name. I think that's how you say his name. There's two other matches I'm forgetting. Those are like the main matches. I can't really like. I don't remember the other two matches. Yeah, I really don't remember the other two matches. I apologize. So, but yeah, it's gonna be like the Brian Kendrick versus Tony Nese and Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher. Let me think if I can remember the other two matches. No, I can't remember the other two matches. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. That's on me. But yeah, I hope you. It's gonna be Noam Dar versus Ho Ho Lun, and I can't remember what that fourth match is gonna be. I just can't remember. So I apologize, but. WWE pay-per-view on demand, only on WWE Network. Sorry about that. But overall, I thought this was an awesome episode of the CWC. And yeah, it was awesome. Okay, so now we have season 1, episode 6. Let me just pull it up. And we had the same people on commentary. And first it showed a Jack Gallagher video package. And he says, that he's from England and he's wrestled in England. And he says that he likes to think that his style of wrestling is scientific because he's the smallest guy in the tournament, so he has to use his mind to be able to take down his opponents. And he says that he likes to think himself as a gentleman. And if his opponent keeps it gentlemanly, keeps the match gentlemanly, he'll keep the match gentlemanly. And he says, but he will not hesitate to do whatever he has to do submit you, or pin you. So I thought it was. I actually like Jack Gallagher. I think he's really good. And then it shows a video package for Akira Tozawa. And he talks about how he's from Japan and how he's honored to be in the WWE, and how the WWE's universe's will and honor is the reason why he keeps fighting. That's about kind of the gist of it. So then we had Akira Tozawa versus Jack Gallagher in a CWC tournament second round match. This was a really good match. Jack Gallagher dominates the first half. He gets Akira into an Indian death block, which looked cool, and he's being kind of not really a douche, but he's kind of showing off a little bit. So I kind of like that. He's being really arrogant about stuff. And one funny spot in this match was Jack Gallagher ties up Akira into like a ball. Which was hilarious, and Akira is just stuck like that for a while, and Jack Gallagher he's getting pissed off, and Jack Gallagher kicks him right in the ass, literally kicks him in the ass. I thought that was awesome. And then eventually Akira starts to get pissed off. He hits a clothesline. He hits a body slam into a senton, but he doesn't get the pinfall. And he hits a right hand right to Jack Gallagher's face, and Jack Gallagher just falls straight down. I thought that was awesome. And eventually Jack Gallagher starts to get pissed off, and he starts going after the injured leg of Akira, because he does this for a while. He just really starts to target the injured leg, and eventually Akira starts to try to make some sort of comeback. There's some points where the referee has to ask if he can continue. And eventually Akira starts to make a comeback. He has a German suplex. And then he tries to go for another German suplex. But Jack Gallagher tries to counter into and go after the leg of Akira, but he just can't do it. Akira is able to muster enough strength to hit another German suplex on Jack Gallagher, and he gets the victory. So Akira ends up advancing in the tournament. But this was a really good match. It was really good. It wasn't a great match, but it was really good. You could definitely I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was really good. And then it shows a video package for Ho Ho Lun, and he talks about how he wanted to be a wrestler ever since he was a kid. And when he finally made it to the WWE, he felt like that he made his friends and family proud of him, and he wants to make his friends and family proud of him again by winning the Cruiserweight Classics. So, and then Noam Dar gets a video package, and he talks about. I really don't remember much about his video package. Not gonna lie, I really don't. So I'm sorry. And then it's Noam Dar versus Ho Ho Lun in another CWC tournament second round match. This was actually a pretty good match. Noam Dar targets the injured leg of Ho Ho Lun, and eventually Ho Ho Lun starts to make a comeback. He hits a kick to the back of the head, then a super kick, but eventually Noam Dar makes him tap out to a knee bar. But it was a good match, not a great match, but a good match. And he advances in the tournament. And then we have a Tony Nese video package, and he talks about how he's the greatest wrestler that it's ever come, and he says that everybody else is going to tell you that they've worked so hard to get here for years, but I deserve to be here, and I'm going to show, and that's what this Cruiserweight Classic is for, is I'm going to show people why I deserve to be here. So I thought that was really good. And then we get a video package for the Brian Kendrick, and he talks about how he's not, everybody else may be a little bit younger and may be able to move a little faster than him, and he realizes that he can't do that. He's not the same guy that he was at 23, but he wants to be able to have the same, because he realizes he may not get the same opportunity when he turns 38, because right now he's 37, and he says that if I don't win this, then that was all for nothing. So then we had the main event. It was the CWC. It was a CWC second. It was a CWC tournament second round match. It was Tony Nese versus the Brian Kendrick, and this was a fantastic match. It was awesome. Probably the match of the night. The Brian Kendrick tries to immediately run and charge at Tony Nese, but Tony Nese just knees him right in the head, and pretty much Tony Nese just dominates this match in the beginning. The Brian Kendrick tries to throw him in, tries to charge at him while he's towards the steps, but Tony Nese is able to move out of the way, and he ends up he ends up landing on the apron. No, he tries to chop block him actually while he's on the apron, but he ends up hitting a cartwheel on the floor, and then Tony Nese hits a super kick on Kendrick, and he tries to go for the pinfall, but he kicks out of it, and then the Brian Kendrick, he's doing something in the corner to Tony Nese, but you don't know what he's doing, but he ends up trapping Tony Nese's hand into the turnbuckle. I'd never seen anything like that before in my life. It was actually really cool, and he ends up just kicking at it. And he takes control of the match for a little bit, but then Tony Nese gets right back in control. He hits a flip dive outside the ring, and then Tony Nese gets him back in the ring. He goes for his moonsault twice, and he misses it the first time because Kendrick had rolled out of the ring. But the second time he misses it, and then Kendrick gets several arm balls on Tony Nese. The Fujiwara arm ball and just a regular arm ball, a cross arm breaker. But none of those are able to. But Tony Nese doesn't tap out to any of them. At one point, he reverses one of them into a turnbuckle power bomb. And then what else do I want to put it? Tony Nese ends up trying to go for a suplex. He's got him in the position. Kendrick tries to kick him in the head, but Tony Nese is so strong that he ends up hitting it. But he ends up hitting a Falcon Arrow right onto Kendrick, and Kendrick kicks out of that. Kendrick, Tony Nese goes for the, goes to go off the top rope, but Kendrick ends up, taking out his leg, and he ends up hitting his back of the head on the turnbuckle. Eventually Kendrick gets him into the bully choke, but Tony Nese fights out of it twice, on two separate occasions. And then eventually, Tony Nese goes for a 450. Kendrick moves out of the way, and then Kendrick gets him in the bully choke, and Tony Nese immediately taps out, and Kendrick gets the victory. And now, in the next round of the tournament, I can't wait to see this match. It's going to be the Brian Kendrick versus Kota Ibushi. That is going to be a fantastic matchup. I actually can't wait to see that. And actually, Akira Tozawa, too, since he advanced, he's going to be facing in round 3 Grand Metalik. That's actually going to be a really good matchup as well. So I can't wait to see the next one. But this was a really good episode. I didn't think it was as good as the 5th one because the 5th one had 2 spectacular matches. But these one had I thought had a really fantastic match between Kendrick and Tony Nese, and just 2 really good matches between Akira and Jack Gallagher and Noam Dar and Ho Ho Lun. I thought those were really good matches. Well, one really good, one just good, actually. I shouldn't say that. So one was really good, one was good. And now the next episode is going to have the final 3 matches in round 2 of the tournament. It's going to be Drew Gulak versus Patrick Sabre Jr. I think is how I actually kind of legit had to forget how to say his name. And it's also going to have, forget one of them, but it's also going to have as like the main match. It's going to have I'm trying to remember that other one though. It's gonna bug me. But it's also the final match in the tournament. It's gonna be T.J. Perkins versus Johnny Gargano. So I can't wait to see the last 3 matches in the tournament. So yeah, I'm gonna be back, and I'm gonna go watch it and review it right now. Okay, guys, sorry for the delay. I just got really busy, so I haven't been able to finish the video till now. So I'm finishing it now. Let me just make sure this is the right episode. Okay, so I did have the episode right. It is season 1, episode 7, and we had the same people on commentary for this show, and it started off with a video package, showing pretty much the entire tournament, what's been happening so far, and it shows Triple H, and he's in there with a bunch of guys that made the trophy that the winner of the Cruiserweight Classics is gonna get on the final episode. And it actually looks like a really good trophy. It's all purple because of the brand of the Cruiserweight Classics. But I don't remember who it was made by. I'm assuming they'll say it on the final episode, so we'll say it then. So that was really cool. And then we get a video package for Lince Dorado. And he says that he's been wrestling all over the world as Lince Dorado. He said that he said that he expected to come to WWE because he had dreamed about it for months. And he says that if he wins the Cruiserweight Classics, it would be a dream come true to him because it would prove that he made it on the big stage. Then we had a Witch Swan video package, and he talks about how when he was 13, his mom passed away, and his dad passed away when he was 16. And he said that he wrestling saved his life. He had to scratch and claw from nothing, and he says that he feels like he can express himself when he's wrestling. So I like that. And I think Rich Swann, out of everybody in this tournament, has the best story just because of the life that he had to go through. And then we had the first match. It was the CWC tournament second round match. Rich Swann versus Lince Dorado. And this was a really good opening matchup. It was really fast paced. They both started exchanging grapple holds on each other. Lince Dorado hits a Hurricanrana on Rich Swann, and he lands on his feet. And then the same thing happens with Rich Swann, where he hits the Hurricanrana, with Lince Dorado lands on his feet. And Rich Swann's trying to dance, but Lince Dorado says no, and then he starts dancing. I thought that was pretty entertaining. And then they hit a stiff shot on each other. Rich Swann hits a drop kick, setting Lince Dorado out of the ring. And then he goes to hit a dive on the outside, but Lince Dorado catches him on a drop kick. Hits a tope suicida onto Rich Swann. And he gets him back in the ring, goes to cover him, but he kicks out. And then they continue going back and forth. I thought that was really good. They had really good exchange. Rich Swann goes for 450. Lince Dorado gets his knees up and goes for a roll up, and Rich Swann kicks out. They also said too that these two have wrestled all over the world with each other except in WWE, so I thought that was interesting too. And then what else happened in this match? Then they both started exchanging rights and left hands. And then eventually they both ended up getting tired, which I thought was nice. They both hit double bicycle kicks on each other. Lince Dorado goes for the what else happened? Yeah, Lince Dorado goes for the shooting star press, but Rich Swann moves out of the way, and then he hits a Phoenix Splash right onto Lince Dorado's face and gets the victory. And overall, it's a really good, fast-paced match, in which Swann wins and advances in the tournament. So I thought that was a really good and fun match. And then hashtag DYI get interviewed, and Johnny Gargano talks about how because the storyline here is Johnny Gargano is set to face TJ Perkins in the main event of the show, and hashtag DYI had just lost at an NXT tag team championship match at NXT Takeover Brooklyn, and Johnny Gargano's knee got really hurt pretty badly and really badly in that match. So they're trying to play off that, and Johnny Gargano says that TJ Perkins is a good athlete, but he says that he's the favorite to win this tournament, and he says that it's his dream and he wants to win this tournament and be the greatest cruiserweight of all time. So I thought that was a good promo by Johnny Gargano. And then we get a video package from Drew Gulak, and he talks about how nobody said that he would ever make it into the WWE. People had said that he was going to amount to nothing. And he says that that he likes making people tap out, and he said that that he could just get a submission hold in on you really quick and make you tap out at any moment. And then Zack Sabre Jr. cuts a promo, and he talks about how he doesn't remember what his life was like before he watched wrestling. and he says that the cruiserweights from WCW were, his role models, and he said that he's gonna win the tournament because if he's the best technical wrestler on the planet, then that's the reason that he should be winning this tournament. So then we had the another CWC tournament second round match: Zack Sabre Jr. versus Drew Gulak, and the whole thing too is Drew Gulak's a little bit upset that people claim that Zack Sabre Jr. is a better technical wrestler than he is, so he wants to prove him wrong. But overall, this was actually a really good technical wrestling match. If you want like a really good technical wrestling match, this is the match for you. Zack Sabre Jr. They usually they have to like shake hands before the match starts, and Zack Sabre Jr. just slaps. No, Drew Gulak just slaps Zack Sabre Jr.'s hand, and they both start doing quick chain grapples to each other, and they just really start going to town on each other. They hit a lot of bridge roll-ups. Drew Gulak hits a Northern Light suplex. He hits a what else? He hits him. He really hits a lot of technical moves. I like it. He hit the body slam into the ropes, which was cool. And he goes to go off the top rope, and Zack Sabre Jr. catches him into a Fujiwara armbar. That was really cool. I'm trying to think of like other moves. But Drew Gulak was really out wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. He gets him in an ankle lock. And it was a really good submission technical wrestling based matchup. But eventually Zack Sabre Jr. wins with a bridge roll up. And afterwards, Drew Gulak does shake his hand, but he's like not really happy about it. But it was really good. It was actually a really good match, and yeah, I really enjoyed the technical wrestling. Because it was since it was a technical wrestling match. And then we had a video package for T.J. Perkins, and he talks about how a lot of kids want to look up to someone that's a heel, but they want to look up to someone that's a heel that they can relate to. And that's somebody. And he says that when people go back to the history books, he wants to be a part of that history. So I thought that was good promo. Johnny Gargano has a video package, and he talks about how he's going to win the Cruiserweight Classics. He's going to give it everything he's got, and says that since he beat his own tag team partner to get into this tournament, he feels like he can beat anybody to get to win. So then we had the last match of the CWC tournament second round. Johnny Gargano versus T.J. Perkins. This was a really good match. They both start doing submission holds to each other. T.J. Perkins gets him into the Moodle lock. Johnny Gargano gets him into a surfboard. T.J. Perkins gets him into a Romero special. Johnny Gargano hits a Tope Suicida on the outside. And T.J. Perkins dominated a lot of the match. He started working on the injured knee of Johnny Gargano. T.J. Perkins hit a Heyman's neck breaker on Gargano, but he kicked out of it. Gargano hits a spear coming through the ropes like he normally does. Johnny Gargano hits a roll up into a kick to the head. T.J. Perkins tried to go off the top rope. Gargano hits an enziguri. T.J. Perkins hit the rebound drop kick. Is what I think it's called. He ended up. What else did he do? Eventually, he ended up hitting the where he lifts him up into a fireman's carry. He gets him into and knees Gargano into head, and then he hits the double knees to the chest. He hits that. He hit that combination on him. Gargano goes to go off the top, but T.J. Perkins moves out of the way, and T.J. Perkins goes to dive on him while he's on the apron, but Johnny Gargano counters into a super kick right to his head, and then eventually he hits he completely just dives right onto T.J. Perkins, and he actually takes himself and T.J. Perkins out. He ended up hitting his knee on the wind bell, and this is very important because it's the injured knee. And they both start going back and forth with each other. Johnny Gargano hits a snake eyes in the corner. And eventually T.J. Perkins gets him into the knee bar, but Johnny Gargano reverses it. into his like his own version of a knee bow. Then he reverses it into a roll up, but then eventually T.J. Perkins gets him in the knee bow, and Johnny Gargano ends up tapping out, and T.J. Perkins wins, and he advances in the tournament. But it was actually a really good match. I really enjoyed it. And overall, I really enjoyed round two of this tournament. I thought it was awesome. I thought all the matches were really good. Some of them, the ones that were my favorite, obviously, was Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi. Maybe Johnny Gargano versus T.J. Perkins. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Drew Gulak. Tony Nese versus the Brian Kendrick. Grand Metalik versus Tajiri. And Rich Swann versus Lindsay Dorado was a good one. Those would be some of the ones I could come up with. I thought they were all. I even liked Jack Gallagher versus Akira Tozawa. I thought that was a really good one too. I can't really think of a bad one. They were all really good, and I just can't wait to see what the quarterfinals is going to be like. And then at the end of this episode, they announce who's going to be in the quarterfinals. Let me see if I can remember everybody. If I don't, I'll just say it in the next episode. It was so it's going to be obviously T.J. Perkins. Kota Ibushi, the Brian Kendrick, Rich Swann, Grand Metalik, Akira Tozawa, Zack Sabre Jr., Noam Doe. It's going to be 8 pieces. So now it's down to the Great 8 as they're calling it. So let me just count them again. Grand Metalik, Rich Swann, Lindsay Dorado. No, I'm sorry. I messed that up. Let me do it again. Grand Metalik, Rich Swann, Akira Tozawa, Lee Brian Kendrick, T.J. Perkins, Zack Sabre Jr., trying to remember the other two. Kota Ibushi. There's one more I'm missing. Noam Doe, I think. I don't think I said him. I think those are the 8, but I'll say it in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll be back to do the next episode. I'm going to try to get all the reviews, all of the Cruiserweight Classics done today, and I think I should be able to do that because I only have 3 more episodes to watch. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure to subscribe to all the stuff down below and subscribe to this channel itself. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.